Hello. I normally use Crystal to develop CLI and APIs solutions, but recently I'm working on a new application and I need to facilitate the integration with front-end tools. And I found that there was no solution out there that made that simple without having to go with a framework or a lot of manual steps. So with that in mind, I decided to open source what I work over the last couple of weeks, which is Vite.js integration for Crystal. Out of the box that comes with Crystal, no other dependency. And it takes an approach more convention over configuration because I found that all the Vite.js configuration is overwhelming. Why this is different from other solutions? This one is focused into reducing the complexity that happens behind the scenes with Vite.js integration. Just to be more clear, Vite.js provides its own HTTP server to communicate, host a module reload, and a bunch of functionality that only works during development. That functionality runs in its own port, and the problem with that is that your application is going to run in a different port. That causes some issues with cross-origin, course policies, domains, on a bunch of other things, and they are most of the time complicated for most of those setups. The approach that I took here, it runs as a proxy behind the application, and it made it really simple to integrate. So I'm going to show you that in the code right now. You have the initialization, then you can have a handler that you added in development mode into your list of handles, and then you put that into your server. So going to my terminal, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a short install and install the latest version. Using Bun, I'm going to install the JavaScript dependencies. In this particular case, install Vite, and the Vite plugin is not an npm package, is bundled within the shard, and it's pointing to that. If we take a look to how that looks like in the configuration, we just import Crystal, and then for plugins, we just indicate the port and any additional entry points, and those are going to be automatically exposed and bundled when you do the Vite build. I start both the application and Vite as the servers to be running. So Crystal is now compiling my application, and that's running on port 8080. So going back to the setup that we have here, I'm going to go to localhost 8080, and you can see that we have this with the counter, the links. So what I can test, if I change this is going to do a full refresh of the page because I'm changing JavaScript, and that's not what I want. So I'm just going to do that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the CSS. So let's say I'm going to change the background and made it color gray, and press save, and that's automatically refresh it. So that works. So we can actually test this. I'm going to count that, do that, and you can see it didn't reset, right? Well, when I changed the JavaScript, it did reset to run only on that single port. Just to be more precise, this is running in a container that only exposed that port, but Vite, as you can see from the command line, when I run it here, is running in its own port. This is on development mode, but if I wanted to compile it, what I would recommend is add some logic in your build process. You can take a look to the README, see all the instructions how to use some of the conventions like the default port for Vite, where to find the source for the front end, but you can set it up your own path. I hope you find this useful. Take a look to the repository on GitHub. Have fun, have a nice day.